Today we are recapping A Complete Unknown, the biopic of legendary singer-songwriter Bob Dylan. Here's the plot. The film opens in 1961, as a restless 20-year-old Bob Dylan, played by Timothée Chalamet, hitchhikes from the snowy backroads of Minnesota to the gritty, chaotic heart of Greenwich Village, New York, a place buzzing with beat poets, protest singers, and political firebrands. It's the epicenter of the American folk revival, and Dylan is chasing something more than fame. He's chasing purpose. He arrives awkward and wiry, carrying a guitar and a head full of Woody Guthrie lyrics. Dylan is obsessed with Guthrie, not just as a musician, but as a symbol of working-class authenticity and moral clarity. He even visits Woody in the hospital, a haunting and reverent moment that sets the emotional tone. At first, Dylan is an outsider. He plays for tips in smoke-filled coffee houses, often dismissed by traditionalists. But something about his raw voice, unpredictable charisma, and biting humor catches people's attention. He listens more than he speaks, absorbing blues, gospel, beat poetry, and protest anthems like a sponge. His transformation begins in silence, in the shadows. At an art gallery opening or political gathering, Dylan meets Sylvie Rousseau, played by Elle Fanning, a fiercely intelligent, socially conscious artist based on Suze Rotolo, Dylan's real-life girlfriend. Sylvie is magnetic in her own right, sharp, independent, politically driven. She introduces Dylan to radical literature, street-level activism, and the emotional stakes of the civil rights era. Their relationship quickly deepens. Sylvie becomes his muse and moral compass. But Dylan, though drawn to her, remains emotionally guarded. The tension between them grows as Dylan's ambition begins to pull him away from her grounded idealism. Dylan signs with Columbia Records, championed by legendary producer John Hammond. His first albums, particularly The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan, catch fire with the public. The film covers this rise with gorgeous montages, studio sessions bathed in warm analog tones, footage of Dylan performing Blowin' in the Wind at rallies, and quiet moments of him rewriting lyrics over cups of cold coffee. The world begins to call him the voice of a generation. But Dylan doesn't fully embrace the title. He grows increasingly skeptical of being turned into a symbol. Dylan meets fellow folk star Joan Baez, played by Monica Barbaro, and the two share a complex creative and romantic chemistry. She's already a folk icon, and while she tries to mentor him, Dylan begins to eclipse her both in artistry and attention. Their relationship is affectionate but competitive. Meanwhile, folk legend Pete Seeger, played by Edward Norton, takes Dylan under his wing. At first, Pete is supportive, encouraging Dylan's protest songs and traditional structure. But things change when Dylan's lyrics begin to grow abstract, cryptic, even surreal. Pete and the older folk crowd grow uneasy with Dylan's move toward personal poetry and rock and roll energy. As Dylan's fame skyrockets, his relationships crack. Sylvie accuses him of selling out or losing sight of their shared ideals. In a pivotal, emotionally raw scene, she tells him he's turning into what they once despised. He replies with the haunting line, "I'm not a politician. I'm a song and a sneer and a spark." This encapsulates Dylan's central conflict, the pressure to speak for a generation when all he wants is to speak from his own soul. All the tension builds to the legendary moment at the 1965 Newport Folk Festival. Dylan arrives with a leather jacket, sunglasses, cryptic new songs, and a full electric band, featuring future members of the band. The crowd, expecting acoustic anthems, gets hit with Maggie's Farm played loud and fast through a distorted Fender Stratocaster. The performance is chaotic and legendary. The crowd boos, some out of betrayal, others confusion. Pete Seeger is seen backstage, frustrated and rumored, in myth, to have threatened to cut the power. But Dylan doesn't flinch. The moment is portrayed not just as rebellion, but as liberation. He's not trying to destroy folk music. He's outgrowing it. The final scenes explore the aftermath. Fans and critics are divided, his inner circle fractures, and Sylvie leaves. Dylan, isolated but free, walks alone into the night. The film closes with him scribbling lyrics in a notebook and whispering a line, "There's no direction home." Thanks for watching. Please subscribe below and check out more of my movie recaps.